What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP to US dollar, DueDEX, as well as the current coin market cap. Specifically, today's video, I want to talk about where the current price is hanging out at. Yesterday, we made a video. We came onto the channel, made a video discussing the very interesting level that Bitcoin was retesting. There was an extreme resistance, as you guys can see with this Bitcoin chart pulled up. We have our massive downtrend that's been on the market for like 3 odd years now, and we are once again retesting this. So I really just want to go over really what is going on with the market, because only Bitcoin is really the cryptocurrency that's starting to show different signs compared to the other ones. Everything else seems to be fairly flatlined in regards to price. So I do want to talk about all of that stuff. Otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. This way it helps out the YouTube algorithm. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial. This way, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can DM me over there. Otherwise, let's jump into today's episode. So as you guys can see, I'm on my YouTube channel, and yesterday we came out with a video. As you guys see when I pull this up, here we go. The thumbnail pretty much says it all, and definitely something you guys should consider in a lot of my videos is checking out the thumbnails, because that's where most of the important information really is. Basically, I said XRP and Bitcoin reached an epic price point, and what exactly are we going to be doing about that? So as you guys notice here, what it is that I've highlighted and circled is we have a clear resistance on Bitcoin, and we have the price kind of hanging out at that level. That to me set off some red flags. It's fairly alarming. Hopefully it was to you, since we've been tracking Bitcoin. You can kind of tell what exactly is going on. But you can see I have the current coin market cap pulled up right now. Top 10 cryptos, everything is flatlined for the most part. Bitcoin is the only one that's really starting to head up a little bit higher. But if you scratch that and you look at most of the others, it's literally sideways movements. Yes, some cryptos have a slight movement to the upside, but for the most part, especially when we look up here, like top 7, top 8, everything is just sideways trading. And as we know, this usually indicates that the big volume in the past has kind of settled down, and now we're leaning more towards another big injection of volume into the market. So that's kind of what we want to track. We've been discussing this the past couple of episodes, but we're really not seeing much differences in the market right now, except for the past maybe 4 days or 4 days ago. That's when we actually were able to break through the resistance and go up a little bit higher. But we've discussed this in depth in yesterday's video. I'll touch on it a little bit more in today's episode. So for those of you coming to me asking, well, should I buy in long? Should I sell short? What are my positions? What do you expect? Is there any more room to go up higher? I'm going to try to answer all those as best as I can. So when you look at the charts here, we're looking at things on the daily perspective. What that means is, on the daily perspective, you're really not getting a full, complete picture of Bitcoin's chart. You really have to do is take a step back and check out the charts from a weekly standpoint or even a monthly standpoint if you really want to gauge the general direction of the market for the next upcoming weeks or months. When you look at this such short term, yeah, you could say, okay, well, we did have this bearish cross, but we're hanging very close on the MACD. Or the RSI is kind of flatlined out, going back down to 60. We look okay. We're bouncing really not off a massive support, but we are kind of hanging out at that resistance, and we're slowly, creeping up above here. But even though that looks good for the most part, and the fact that we've broken above here before, when you take a step back and you look at the weekly, like we've talked about, the weekly shows otherwise. And the weekly you have to consider to be stronger than the daily or the 4-hour, because this is what the long-term effects of crypto have. This is basically the map towards what is going on long-term. And as you guys can see, things on the weekly charts don't always appear on the daily. So what I'm referring to is in the fact that we've started this. I'm so fascinated by this, because if you asked me like 3 weeks ago, I didn't notice this really. I had a very interesting chart. I more so was tracking this smaller uptrend and resistance, this smaller symmetrical triangle. I actually remember this. Then we broke bearish. We had another one that was coming on where it was this uptrend, I believe, and then this one broke bearish. And now we're basically realizing that this was all within an even monstrous size ascending or symmetrical triangle. So that's what's very interesting. We've drawn on Elliott waves. People are texting me, DMing me all the questions about this Elliott wave formation. But my main point is this. It's going to be one of the two. We're either going to break bullish, and I'm just going to cut right to the chase. We're either breaking bullish with extreme volume or breaking bearish with extreme volume. And that's pretty much going to set the tone. What we ultimately have to wait for when expecting to be buying in long is basically a confirmation above this downtrend. As you can see, every single time, don't ignore the starting point, but every single time we've tried to break through here, it starts massive wicks. It throws massive wicks. And now we're doing it again as of last week. And you can see today really has 12 more days. Wow. I think that says 12. No, 12 more hours. Sorry. Today is Sunday, so we have 12 more hours of movement within this candle to really set the gauge as to what's going on. Do I think that in the next 12 hours we're going to actually be able to close above this downtrend? No, honestly, probably not. If we did, by chance, somehow manage to close above here, that's going to really start a whole new topic at hand, and that's whether or not we're going to be continuing to move outside of this massive resistance. But more than likely, there's a good chance we're going to see the opposite of that. We're going to close below here. We may see a slight pullback in the next week or two, and then retest that resistance once again to 94. But I really think at the moment, and maybe within the next coming weeks, that $10,000 is kind of out of the picture. That's my understanding of this. Definitely I could be totally wrong. Let me know. I have a Patreon for that where we have all the stocks, the trades, everything that you could possibly think of. Actually, a huge shout out. Just reminded me, huge shout out to everybody supporting me on Patreon. We literally just broke 80. Just last week we broke 70. Now this week we're breaking 80. So it's blowing up, and it's a huge shout out to you guys. For those of you that don't have me on Patreon who are interested in knowing what it is, there's a lot of people on it, so it's a massive crypto community, eager to learn, eager to invest in crypto, eager to know my trades. Everything you could think of is on there. All my stop losses, my longs, my shorts, everything you can think of. I put my live updating trades there because, as you know, I work now. So it's very hard to get these videos out, at the exact time. And as we know, cryptocurrency is very time sensitive. So my Patreon is where I can just upload my trades very quickly. So definitely check that out. It does help support the channel. But specifically, I do think that we're probably going to close below here. And then honestly, I think we're going to be gearing up for what it could be a very big, gruesome drop in crypto for the next upcoming, month or two. We're in May, so June, July, August. Yeah, June, July, August. We could have maybe 3 months of downtrend. I know I don't want to spread FUD, but that is a huge possibility that we have to consider when investing in Bitcoin, is that this is at a peak. If you ask anybody, what's a good time to invest, and I showed you this, and they were, a noob, they're not going to say, oh, I'll invest here because it's going to fall. I'm not going to invest here because it's going to fall. They'd probably say the same thing. I'm not going to invest here because it's going to fall. Doesn't make sense to be buying in at these prices if you plan on holding long term, which means ultimately get ready to short. That's the point of this. We now have, with all this new technology, ways to make money. Shorting. Take advantage of it. It's here. Doesn't make sense not to. We have a massive potential correction to the downside to shoot $4,000 in a drop. That is a huge opportunity to short on DueDEX. You can see the same thing applies to DueDEX. You can see right here. And I'm sorry for talking about Bitcoin so much for those XRP hodlers. It'll be at the end of the episode, but it's only going to be small, so just brace yourself. But we have a massive downtrend. We can see on the DueDEX chart on Bitcoin, every time we hit this resistance, this yellow one, we break again. So it makes sense not to buy at its peak. So expect to see, a correction to the downside. Get ready to short this. I know I will. I'll be updating everybody on my Patreon when I specifically go to short long. So definitely check that out. For short for the long term, not short long. That's a double negative. But short for the long term of things. Now, lastly, to wrap up today's video, the reason I'm not really talking about, XRP and some of the other cryptos as much is because it's not doing anything. We discussed yesterday's video. There's a massive weekly chart, but it's not doing anything right now. It's trading sideways. It's not really moving. It's getting wedged in between here. So ultimately, it looks like we're just going to wait it out. We may have, this is definitely prime time to expect a big drop or a big pull to the upside. Obviously, anything below here is going to shoot us down into all-time lows, which is going to suck, but it's there. So ultimately expect if we can break and close a weekly, I'm not saying a daily, a weekly candle above this downtrend, we can close this candle above here, expect to see a bullish move. It's going to follow Bitcoin. I don't really think it's going to happen. You know, we're suppressed right now by the moving average, but there's a very good chance it's going to see the resistance consolidation, probably break bearish. It seems like the whole market is what I'm getting. Ethereum looks okay, bottoming off at its middle moving average. It's above there. Probably going to trade out sideways. Everything is waiting for one of the other cryptos to make a move. Same thing with Litecoin. It is now below its uptrend, so oddly playing out there too. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up today's video, guys. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, follow me on Twitter, CryptoVOfficial, and I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Peace.